Hey y'all. So, a lot of y'all know my story, my why, but I feel like there are a lot of people that don't. And I get a lot of questions on why I eat the way I eat, why I eat to live, why I make my children eat to live. So I decided to get on here and share a little bit of that. I'll start with my history. So, back in my 20s at some point, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure. So I have been on pills since my 20s. Those of you that don't know, I'm 42 now and have been on pills for quite a substantial amount of time in my life. Now, at that time, like I did smoke a lot, I drank, and all the things. So at that point in time, I was perfectly fine with my life. I was I was okay with the way I was living. I was okay with taking blood pressure medication. I just thought that's what you do. I thought that's the way it's supposed to be when you have a condition. So 2013, we had a death in my family. We had not had a death in our family in quite some time since I was like the last death that hit my that particular family. I think I was 12, which is my grandmother. She died from a heart attack in her sleep. But in 2013, my aunt passed away from a heart attack as well. So that's when, like, the light bulb started going off a little bit for me, but not enough to make me change anything that I was doing. Um, Fast forward 2017. Those of you that don't know, I have four older children from a previous marriage, and their father passed away. Not from a health condition or anything like that, but yet still passed away. Th- that began to trigger something in me, anxiety, things like that, based off of I had a fear at that point. It triggered a fear in me, like what would my kids do if I left? They had already lost one parent. What would they do if I was no longer here? So at that point in 2017, um, I cut out a lot of things. Like I cut out sugars at that point. Like I started watching documentaries, like Game Changers and things like that. And so I cut out sugars. I cut out a lot of things like meat. I was still pescatarian. I still ate fish and shrimp and things. Still ate eggs and milk and dairy, all of those things. But I cut out meat at that time. And I was okay with that. And I was still taking blood pressure medication. I was still smoking at that time, um, around that time. And then, like, I made a choice around then that I no longer wanted to smoke because I knew it was playing a part in my health. So I let go of the smoke, and it was not easy, but it was needed. My kids actually had asked me to stop smoking, so um, I let that go. Uh, So when I say I got rid of sugar, I threw away like white sugar, white cane sugar, but I was still very much so consuming sugar. So I stopped smoking with Twizzlers. I would chew Twizzlers all day long. I'm not suggesting that that's what you do. I'm just telling you my story and how I got through it. So 2017, I went pescatarian, cut a lot of things out of our diet, um, switched from sugary cereals to healthier cereals. Started looking a little bit into natural things, but I wasn't all the way there. I had a group of cousins and myself. We started looking into sea moss and black seed oil and things like that, and my interest started to be piqued. And I started, just looking into those things. 2019, and we started taking those things. We had started taking the black seed oil. Um, Not quite yet was I taking sea moss though. I was really on black seed oil and smoothies. So 2019, my father-in-law passed, and we watched his health decline, um, which was very, very hard. It was very difficult. I did have conversations with him towards the end of his life on changing his diet, but that's hard to do when you've been eating a certain way for so long. But so he passed away, and it's like every time somebody passed away, it catapulted me into another step of my taking my health more seriously. So I really jumped into those natural remedies, into making the sea moss myself, finding out where to order it. Was still pescatarian, was still very much so eating salmon and eggs and all the things. But I was taking on a lot more natural, holistic remedies at that point. Okay, so fast forward, uh, my mom passed. My mom passed in 2023, and she died from a heart attack. Now, there's a pattern in my family with high blood pressure and heart attacks. So my grandmother passed that way. My aunt, which was her daughter, my mom's sister, passed that way. My grandmother's sister passed that way. And now my mom had passed that way. And looking at the fact that I had high blood pressure and I have all these daughters and children behind me, I was like, something has to change. Like, I have to do something different or I'm going to get the same thing that we've always gotten. So I made the decision 2023. That was it. That was it. I was going full vegan. I was going to transform my health. I was going to get off of blood pressure medication. I was going to show my children and my family a better way to live, to take our health seriously, and ultimately to eat to live. In doing so, I didn't see a drastic change in my health being pescatarian. It wasn't until, okay, so back up a little bit. I went to the doctor. It's in October of, so my mom passed in late August. I went to the doctor in October and my cholesterol was elevated. And I had a doctor that was like, okay, well, let's put you on this statin medication. And I was like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I'm already on one medication I don't want to be on. And I'm not going to take another medication. And so I told him, if you give me 3 months and come back, the cholesterol will be down. The numbers will be in check. And so he's very, you know, modern medicine doctor. He did not have faith in that. Um, his thing was more so, you've been on blood pressure medication since your 20s, and now all of a sudden you're going to make these drastic life changes to not be on medication. And so I had to look him in the face and tell him that is exactly what I'm going to do. And so I took some time and I talked to God and I asked God to put the things in my path you need me to see. Help me, just like I did with smoking. Like, let me go back. I didn't just quit smoking on my own. I sat in church and I asked God to help me, because if He didn't, I would not succeed at it. And He successfully helped me to stop smoking. And I'm talking about weed and black amounts, heavy. So I went back to God, like, Lord, please put the things in my path I need to see to help me on this journey. This is not going to be easy. This is going to be the hardest thing I've ever done, but please help me. And like the way He just started putting like knowledge in front of me, things that would help me to dig deeper into how to live this life. And I didn't make it at 3 months, but at I think 7 months, I went back and my numbers were down. I had dropped 30 pounds. I felt great. My blood pressure was in check. Um, and I guess I'm saying this to say your health is your priority. Um, no, it's not something that you have to do. I don't get on here and try to convince people to live the way that I live. I get on here to encourage people and tell them that there is another way. Like, you don't have to live with whatever diagnosis that you have. And I wanted to live more than I wanted that repetitive cycle that was going on in my family. I needed something different for my children, for my daughters. I needed something different for myself. I wanted to live. I wanted to live and I wanted to not die. And I still want to not die from a heart attack or a stroke or any of those things. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I get on here and I try and show people a way to do this. And a way to do it simple. Not saying that you have to jump all in, but one meal at a time, one smoothie at a time, one juice at a time, until you can get yourself on a path where you are giving your body the environment to heal itself, that you're tapping into these natural things that God gave us that can help us heal ourselves. Because the medication is not the way. The medication will mask the symptoms, but it will never take care of the root problem. So there are plenty of people out here dealing with high blood pressure. There's plenty of people dealing with high diabetes, and you've been told that you'll never be able to get off the medication. And I sit here to tell you that you can. It is very possible. And there's always a deeper step. There's always a next level to your health. That's why I get on here and I document and I show my first 7 days of the month being raw vegan, because being raw, like, um now I will say this. There are still times where my blood pressure will go up. I mean, it's not dangerously high, but it will be higher than I want it to be. And that's even being vegan when I eat vegan snacks and things like that. I love chips. I'm like addicted to chips. So when I eat too many, or I do just even eat out, even eating vegan, like, there are things that will still cause my blood pressure to elevate, and I can eat raw and everything will line back up. Everything will line back up. And so I want you to be encouraged today. I am not saying be vegan. What I am saying is take your health seriously. Look into what that looks like for you to live, to put things in your body to live. Is eating all of it? No. Being active is a part of it as well. But eating what we put in our bodies, what we put in our mouths, is 80% of it. It's 80% of it. Being active is the other 20. So whatever you do, take the first step. Take that, pray about it. Ask God what direction you should go in your health, what he needs you to know, what how he can help you, and just make that first step today. Okay? So, I'm gonna keep putting information out there. As I learn, I will share, and I will always, for the rest of my days on this earth, eat to live and show my children how to eat to live. And I encourage y'all to do the same thing. All right. Be blessed. Bye.